We just have a whole lot of, we made a list yesterday after
John's bank has been good at working. Why don't we just walk on down this way and talk to her? I just don't want to miss his flight.
What I'm here to say might not sound good to the authorities. It's
We
time for
are
us to change
live
that.
here for the Burlington This Is You portion. And how do we want to start? I think we first start by saying a huge congrats to everyone. We are at 1:30 p.m., started yesterday at 6 p.m. We've had a shift from 6 to 12, had a shift from 12 to 6 a.m., then we had 6 to 12 again, and now we're in the last shift here. So for those of you out there, callers at home, listeners, viewers, round of applause. Sounds quiet in here, but Ali's clapping, Faraj is clapping. We're getting some round of applause. And right at the top of this program, I want to make sure folks know to donate. You can see down at the bottom, some folks call that, I think it's a Chiron, a lower third, cctv.org/telethon. You can donate to help the folks here save the archives. I also want to give a big shout out to Travis Washington, who is not only a gem, I don't know if Travis is out there, but is has been helming this production here for, I don't know, what are we, there's 4 hours left, so 4 minus 24, 4.5, for almost 20 hours. It's an amazing feat. The programming's been awesome to wrangle all these people, get all these community members in, and kind of the gist of community media, as we will, so I talk with my hands, I do this a lot. The gist of community media is to actually build community while making media, and we can see this telethon as actually doing that, putting that into practice. So it's an amazing feat. The reason why we started with a camera and why I am here is because for the last 4 years, I've been fortunate enough to be in the station documenting the inner workings of this place. It started out as an idea to maybe document the people that document. And the documentary is called Burlington, This Is You, which you can visit on the interwebs, which is burlingtonthisisYou.com. Now, where that name comes from, you might ask. That name comes from one of the first television shows that was started by Nat Eyre. And this history has been described to me through Lauren Glenn Davidian. So Nat Eyre and Lauren Glenn, along with Dan Higgins, were some of the founding members of this organization. And so that brings us back to all the way, that brings us back all the way back. That brings us back to 1984, when access and media activism was starting to kind of take root. And so the city of Burlington, under the leadership of Mayor Sanders, decided that this was a great way to build community, and to, at that time, it wasn't probably even called media literacy, but to promote media literacy. And to give you a little backstory, again, not only am I here because I've been documenting, but also we can see that I first learned of this place because I was working on a documentary about the Our Family Boathouse. And so today I have my hat on, which is this hat, Charlie's Boathouse. The Our Family Boathouse is at the mouth of the Winooski River. It was started in 1928, and for a while, as I was teaching at the University of Vermont, I decided that I would see if those folks would be interested in doing a documentary, and I wanted to find archival material. And the archival material that I was able to find was here in the archives, and how I learned about the archives was through a student that I was collaborating with named Jordan Mitchell. Jordan, come on down, come make an appearance. Jordan Mitchell, everyone. And throughout the telethon, there's been all these full circle moments here, and now we have yet another one. So Jordan, as Jordan mics up, what do you remember about the early days?
I was kind of partially listening and partially getting here. So the early days of the boathouse?
Yeah.
Yeah, to reflect on that. It was a while ago. I remember the beagle, the dog, three-legged dog, right?
Charlie had a three-legged dog named Mama
Yeah.
that followed him everywhere.
really followed him around. And I remember when I was there, like Charlie would, he was always trying to clean stuff up and help get people situated with the boats and, greet people and make them food. But it was also maybe near, closer to the end of his life, so he was maybe having a harder time getting around and stuff. But he still was trying to do it and still trying to serve the community in the best way that he could.
That's exactly right. And to put a fine point on this, these stories wouldn't be available. We wouldn't have had I wouldn't have been able to do the type of deeper dive that I was interested in doing, which the project is still unfinished, but we still have it secured. It's in 2 locations. We still want to make it. But the point is to preserve this history allows for the storytelling to happen. So Jordan and I kind of collaborated on that project. We'd go down to the boathouse. We'd help out on closing day. And then Jordan produced a project in my class about the archives. Mm-hmm. And your story is well documented, but what is your story about your introduction to the archives?
Yeah, that's a good question. And before we go to that, also the boathouse is in our archives.
Yeah.
There's an interview with Charlie and his wife Christine, right?
Yeah,
Charlie
or sister Christine.
Sister Christine, thank
Yep.
you. Good clarification. Charlie and Christine were interviewed on a show. I think they were on Stump the Chumps a couple years ago, and I think there might be someone, I think it was lost in Vermont or stuck in Vermont, did a interview at the boathouse, which we have archived as well. So footage of both the boathouse and Charlie and Christine exist in our archives. So another reason to help us save our archives, the telethon. So you had a question. What was the question?
It was about the introduction to the archives, but I think, the point is being made, which is that there's a resource here. Jordan introduced me to the resource, and I said, holy smokes, has anyone done a documentary about this? And so Jordan was my entry point to this organization to meet all the folks here, and lo and behold, here we are in 2025. Deep in it.
Yeah, and at the time I had interviewed, so I'm the current chief archivist and co-director of operations for Town Meeting TV, but prior to me was archivist Michael Blood, and so I had interviewed him while he was working here, and I made a piece in college about his interview and quite a bit of archival footage from CCTV. So at that time I had been volunteering here, working with the Live at 525 shows, so I think that was how I got introduced to it. And then the staff here were always so friendly, so then being able to make a project about it, and then here we are.
No doubt. And so through this history, thank you, Jordan.
Thank you.
I wouldn't be here without you.
Thank you.
And Jordan has pretty much, you could say, has been producing this documentary alongside me. Jordan is the point of contact that lets me know what's been happening. We've had weekly meetings. She's taken on interns that we've worked with, kind of teaching the deep tradition of access and media activism.
Yeah, and helping them and help the interns you have and yourself learn about the archives. And our current website is a little outdated and can be pretty hard to search. So, but I have different access in the back end of the website to be able to help find stuff. So helping you and other community members better understand our archives and how to search it.
Yeah, totally. So as we kind of continue on this path, I just wanted to say thank you to you, and now I'm going to continue to shout out more people.
Great, that's good. Thank you.
And onward, after I met Jordan, I think I met Megan O'Rourke first, and I think Megan is in the other room taking callers, had a show earlier, and so I've also met Megan, and there we are. Jordan is tapping Megan, and we are saying hi to Megan. Megan, give a wave. Maybe Megan's going to come on. And so we're going to keep doing this throughout the show. We're going to keep calling people on to prove the point here that as we're actively doing this telethon, we're also actively making a documentary about this whole history, and then we're interacting. And I want to put a fine point on the idea, there's a mic there for you, Megan, put a fine point on the idea that if you were to give a single word for community media and community media access and media activism, participation comes up quite a bit.
Oh, we're already talking to me.
Yeah, I'm talking right at you.
I just tuned in.
This is great. So active participation. We're inviting Megan in right in the middle of the movie. And now, Megan, now you're here. Do you remember how we first met?
You were working, how did we first meet? You were working at UVM and you were teaching a class in community media, and somehow you connected through Jordan, who had come in to interview. And I'll tell you something. At first, I was like, who's this dude coming in? And I'm gonna give him all his ideas. He's gonna take them back, and he's gonna be up in the hill, and he's gonna be teaching his students. And then, like, you know, and you've heard me say this before, but really the gift for me of media and media making and community media is the attention that allows somebody to kind of like transform. And somebody said it today. They were like, oh, I had all my students in here, and this one person who'd been so quiet just like blossomed on air. And it's so, because some people have the opposite experience where they're like, I don't want to, you know, and your attention that you've been giving, and also like Faraj, the attention that you're giving, being behind the camera, that allows you, you know, or sitting in there and making sure to get the right shot is really part of the gift of community media, and is not so much what's happening here, but it's also, are you looking through the camera and paying attention to what's going on in your community? Like Charlie all day at the Ramble doing that, just like out paying attention. And so I think that, and Nat, you know, I've talked about like all the stuff that Nat does. When you look at it, he's like looking and paying attention to what people are saying, how they're saying it, who else is in the room. So I don't know if I answered your question, but thank you.
But it's great, because then that's a great segue to, again, we kind of launched and spiraled to why the documentary is called Burlington, This Is You, and it's because Nat's first television show was called Burlington, This Is You.
That's right.
And then that exclamation point of this is you, I think is a really important way to think about access and public access television. Like, this is you, right? And I think that kind of like play on words is really fantastic and adds a lot of value and has taught me a lot about this. So as I've never met Nat, but I feel like I know him through the archive and through watching how his shooting style changed, and then some of the quieter or the kind of interstitial moments where, you know, if you come to one of our work sample screenings, which you all will be invited to, you know, Nat putting a lens cleaner on the lens that would never make airtime, but those little moments are great. Or Nat testing a microphone and going in the other room.
Or he would take his camera and he'd forget, he wouldn't turn it off, he would just be recording and running down. And he'd be like running down from one place to the other. Yeah.
And so I think recognizing kind of the history and the peoples whose shoulders we stand on is quite phenomenal. And then kind of passing that down, which you have so generously done for so many folks that either have cycled through the archive or continue to come through the doors. And that was one of the things that I've always noticed, is that when somebody walks through the door, they're greeted, they're asked if they're needed, if they need anything. And
Which
you always
really
offer
the leadership
water.
of Lauren Glenn.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really the leadership of Lauren Glenn, who's like, we're making a party.
You offer somebody
Every day
water.
is a party. Yeah.
It's great. It's actually unbelievable. And I've taken that to, that's one of the things, if I'm ever going to tell a student.
And it's not transactional. It's not like somebody taught you that. It's more just like, oh, what does somebody need to feel part of the community? What does somebody need? And sometimes people just need to chat with you. Sometimes they need to sit on the couch by the front door for a little bit. Sometimes people need to be on the air right away. And
And so what I also will say is to kind of, to continue to talk about the folks in the past that have helped build this, you know, along with, do you want to get up?
Oh, I wasn't sure if you had somebody else
I'm gonna invite the youth on.
Oh, good, yeah.
But in a moment, because I just want to make the fine point that as we talk about Nat and Lauren Glenn, this whole project the archives are a love letter to them, right? Like there is a love letter to them and how the culture that they built and the vision and the advocacy work to keep the lights on and the doors open and to build the collection. Now, I also want to give another shout out to Linda Eyre, who was Nat's partner, and Linda may or may not stop by. If Linda makes it here, we will invite her on. But as I watch the material, Linda's continually everywhere with a microphone talking to people saw it as a form of activism.
Yeah.
So people that even maybe weren't like, I'm not the camera person, I don't have the tech, still have a home within the world of how this, why this is important, and why people dedicate their life to do it.
Yeah, and also you don't have to be, it doesn't have to be about big P politics.
Yep.
And I think that's something that, we are a government access channel, the town meeting TV side of it. CCTV, of course, started before then. But everywhere is a point of entry into community. You don't get to be mayor, city councilor, or school commissioner, or cemetery commissioner, or involved in your school PTO without some connection to your community. And if you don't feel like you're part of that, and so I think having places like this, and that's the work that Travis does so amazingly, Ali in his work at the, out in the community. Again, it has to do with being seen and also giving people tools to just, the interns will go and do a thing on what's your favorite coffee? Yeah. But that's a way of connecting to, I know the word community just keeps used over and over and over again, but. and I think that one of the things too is again passing the tradition on, right? Which is when I first got here, I thought I was, in the cinephile tradition, in the tradition of experimental film, and little did I know as I learned this history that actually part of that experimental and that activist tradition is access. And so all of a sudden I had my, one of these moments, which was like, oh my gosh, I'm way more aligned with this movement than I ever thought. I thought it was over there and I'm over here, and little did I know that I'm actually running alongside the folks that I should be running in the pack with. Yeah.
Which is why we're here. Which, because we're in a liminal space, and because we have other guests that we're going to invite on, let's de-mic, and let's invite up
I'm just
Javier
gonna take off my
and
mic.
Faraja.
Thank you,
Faraja, come
Myles.
up. Thank you, Megan, and I'll go to the handheld.
Thank you, Faraj, for all your work on the. Faraj was running the board. He came in and learned how to run the board.
Come on in.
And did it all this morning.
Uh-oh, I'm tripping up. And I'm going to go to the handheld.
That was pretty awesome.
You're going to take that mic. Faraja is.
You can just sit right there.
And so.
What do you want me to put it?
I'm gonna mic
you can just clip it right on your shirt.
All right.
And so
Thank
to
you.
kind of talk about this here as we get in, and as we look outside, this is Mickey Western over at the Rats Mission Building, who's yet another person doing great art in the community and using the community, using art to build more community. So now we're here, and Faraja's here recording for the Burlington This Is You documentary. These fellas have been to screenings of the works in progress. They've come in here to run their own show. And so I want you both to be able to introduce yourself and talk about who you are and why you make media.
I'm Janvier Belize. This is Faraja Diadone, and we both started filming around in 2022. And it's just, we saw Myles and this guy named Ned with his friend Ned Castle, and they somehow got us interested in filming and doing this type of stuff. And so on, years later, we're still doing it because it's something we've come to enjoy because of the experiences and how close it brings you to community and other people, I guess.
Faraja, what do you got for us?
What's the question?
What do you do? Why do you do this work? What is this work that you do?
So I film with Janvier and Myles, also with Ned, Myles' other partner. Why do I do this? It's a tricky question. But I guess it's like being able to capture people's moments. Example, if we shoot a wedding and stuff like that, just being able to be there and capture that special moment for somebody is really what's important to me. So yeah, and making that look as good as possible. That's why we do what we do.
Okay. And so you all have a YouTube page. What is the YouTube page? Introduce it, and you can tell us about some of the things that you've been documenting. Janvier, why don't you start us, and then Faraja, you can take over.
Yeah, we created a YouTube account called ALV Youth Media. We created this as a way of sharing our works and the things that we record. We want the people who are in the videos to access them, because I feel like it'd be nice for them to see what we've been working on with them. So for example, we did a graduation party, Juneteenth, cooking. We do like a lot of stuff. We also do like performances like underground, higher ground. And yeah, it's a bunch of stuff we do. We do African skits as well, which introduces like community, or give insights to the community that we come from in Africa, and we are able to show those through videos and things like, yeah, basically.
So I'd say the main idea is clearly we have a YouTube account, and the main idea to why we started doing that is because we do a lot of stuff at ALV, and we want to like showcase what we do. At the end of each year, we try to do a showing of everything we've done and like stuff like that. So like every once in a while, like we have one, I think next month on the 15th over at ALV. So we're gonna show that over there, and yeah, so it's like, it's a great way of showing the work we've been doing over the past years. And it's a very good way to bring people together over at ALV and people that are just interested to see what we've been working on over the years.
Okay, and then Instagram. Oops. Instagram. You all are on the gram. Tell us about what you got going on there and what you've been recording recently.
Yeah, we also created an Instagram because we do a lot of soccer. We've been filming a lot of soccer videos, like for Vermont Green, and we wanted our work to be posted and for people to see what we've been doing. And so, yeah.
So recently we did a little short clip for the Vermont Green game. We weren't able to get everything just yet because it's a lot of work here and there, but when we're able to, you guys will definitely be able to see those up there.
Okay. So this is now turned into the ALV Youth Media Show, which is great. I don't know why I stayed on here. You guys can carry this. But the point is we want these cats to come in and do their own TV show. And I'm wondering if you both could talk about handing the tradition down. You know, who are you teaching? Who's coming up? Is that important for you to pass the skills down?
Yeah, no doubt. I think it's important because, say for example, my little brother, he's interested in this type of stuff. So it's good to see him getting in the same environment that I basically have pulled myself in too. He takes photos, but it'd be amazing if he could also like get into videos, because I go to college soon and we're gonna need more people to come and do it. So we're trying to recruit a bunch of youth kids from ALV to come and help out. Meanwhile.
Yeah, so right now we got a few kids, like Janvier mentioned, his brother. We have another kid named Rama, Steve, and JP. So the main focus is really helping the youth to be able to do this when we eventually leave, because like Janvier also mentioned, people are going to college. I'll go the year after him, but we want to make sure we still leave Myles and Ned with kids to mess around with, so they can have stuff. Yeah. So yeah.
And what about the girls that y'all collaborate with?
The dance group?
Yeah, no doubt. In Okolina.
Oh yeah, we got them too, but we love to like get everyone involved, so we try our best to get people out of their shells and stuff, because a lot of people try to stay away from the cameras and all that stuff. So we encourage people, if you don't want to be in front of the camera, you can always be behind and help us operate the cameras. So yeah, we definitely try to get everybody. And Okolina, what's the other one's name?
Well, Apollina's
Apollina's there.
You get to use that now. Apollina's been on. I'm going to try to make Ali's life a little bit easier, come between you all.
Yeah.
Basically, there's a whole crew of folks that are trying to carry on the tradition, and we want to keep it going. As we wind down here, again, there's too many people to give a shout out to. We spent some time talking about Travis, but also the crew. Kevin is back in the booth. We got Steve Diff here being in the audience. We got Ali behind the camera. We got Jordan running the floor. We got all the people that were doing this beforehand. It's just an amazing feat that everyone comes out and shows up. And again, trying to bring the tradition of this into the now and continue. Somebody called in earlier about the archives, and archives create histories, histories create the present. So I think it's really important to share the space, invite people in, and continue to make this work. Now, in the closing minutes, you all have seen a version of this documentary. I know it was in last November, but I want to let people know that we're actively creating this thing. We're asking the folks out there, out on the other side of the fiber waves, I don't think that's a thing, to participate and help us make the best version of Burlington, This Is You, that we can make. We're actively getting feedback. We hosted a work sample screening in November. We did the Made Here Film Festival. We did the Green Mountain Film Festival. In your all's opinion, if you were to watch this thing, or if you recall moments where there are things that you're like, I identify with that, I love that, or are there moments that you're like, I want to see more of this? Like, what would you want to see in a documentary about Burlington, Vermont?
I have nothing in my mind right now, I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I was thinking about this. Like, we go out and we document things. I want to do like a high-level montage about, if people were going to describe Burlington, right? Your Vermont Green footage would make its way in there.
Yeah. I think also featuring the women's game would also be a good one.
Yep, no doubt. So, right, you can only kind of see the whole picture if you keep going out there, right? If you just like go out there on a sunny day, Burlington's going to look like a sunny day, but you got to get out there in the grit, the bad weather, the good weather, all the weather. We could drag this on, but I'm also just thrilled that Dan Higgins just walked in with our pal Mary Simmons. Let's get a shot of our friend over there. I'm hoping that you all will learn the history about Dan, but I will let Dan speak about himself. But I'm gonna say that just like off the top, I will tell you, right, that we're in the presence of legends. Specifically, one thing that we really think a lot about is not just what you make with the media, but how you make it. And Dan is somebody that has brought language to that and has brought a practice to that has helped me pass that tradition down. And I think one of the most important things that Dan really pushed people to do was to show the media that they made in the community that they make it. So with that said, we're coming to a close here, and I'm hoping that what we just did right here is a version of that. And what I mean by that is that I'm gonna hit play on this, and the other person that I wanna shout out is a kind of a legend named George Stoney, who visited Vermont and would essentially held the same belief that if you make media, then it should be shown to the community members that it's made about. And there's no better person to exemplify that than George Stoney, and this is a perfect reason why you should dig into the archives, is to find gems like this, and to understand who somebody like Dan Higgins is, who Lauren Glenn is, who Nat Ayer is, and then also our folks that are in the now doing the hard work. So we'll pause there. We'll see if they want to cut into some George audio, and if they're just going to take it away to the next episode, that's great too. We love you all. Thank you, Burlington. This is you.
Peace.